There it went again. The almighty dollar. Yeah. Oh, wait. There it goes again. Oh, hey. Me. Oh, never mind. Not me, the dollar. Yeah, okay. Listen, I got a great interview I want to share with y'all today. Good friend of mine. We just had a conversation. I wish to share it with you today. That be okay? Well, I guess so. It's my camera. Oh, by the way, that would be probably Miss Cindy's dollar. Thank you, Miss Cindy, for all your support and help in everything that we're trying to do here. Oh, anyway, let me sit down a minute. Oh, am I here? Oh. Oh, no. No. Anyway, look at the dollar, enjoy the dollar, because guess what? Pretty soon, the dollar will be no more. Let's see if we can do what we're fitting to do, and I may stop it, in between our conversation. And I'm sure that Miss Cindy will put this, or guide me to put it on YouTube, the interview that I just got through doing with a good friend of mine that knows what's going on. Oh, now we got 13 viewers. What the hey? I must be gonna die. I must be gonna die during this broadcast. Oh wait, maybe the dollar might die. Oh, there it went. Oh, it's back. Never mind, it's back. Anyway, listen to this. What's going on, brother?
I'm just working things out, dude.
I hear you.
Out.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah, I'm trying to make it through today.
Well, then that will be, you will be equal then, because we both made it through one day.
I hear you, bro.
So what's up?
No, I was looking at the grease thing and, everything else, and, they stayed off the collapse. Hey, they're pretty good, huh?
Well, the stuff that I heard even on the mainline news, the mainstream news, was that this is just kicking the can down the road. It doesn't solve anything.
Oh, I know it don't.
I mean, but even these guys are big. I mean, that's why the stock market didn't rally a gazillion points, and because they're not doing anything.
Right.
So, when I said, it was a non-event.
Yeah, but how do they do that?
What do you mean?
Well, how do they stay it off other than, mainstream media said it stayed off, but, it's still going to collapse, dude.
Oh, sure. That's what I mean. They're just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
All they're doing is simply is loaning more money.
Now, I don't know how well y'all can hear my good friend Jeff, but this is an interview that he chose to do with me today, and if you can't hear it well, let me know, and we'll do something different. Now, I cannot turn him up because it was on an interview pre-done, okay? You understand? Okay? No, I can't. I wish I could. Oh, the dollar's back. Anyway, you need to listen to what the guy's saying, okay? Alright. Here we go. Yeah, we had 13, now it's down to 6. Back up to 6. Well, we're doing Russian roulette, I guess. But anyway, listen to the interview. What's going on, brother?
I'm just working things out, dude.
I hear you.
Out.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah, I'm trying to make it through today.
Well, then that will be, you will be equal then, because we both made it through one day.
I hear you, bro.
So what's up?
No, I was looking at the grease thing and, everything else, and, they stayed off the collapse. Hey, they're pretty good, huh?
Well, the stuff that I heard even on the mainline news, the mainstream news, was that this is just kicking the can down the road. It doesn't solve anything.
Oh, I know it don't.
I mean, but even these guys are big. I mean, that's why the stock market didn't rally a gazillion points, and because they're not doing anything.
Right.
So, when I said, you know, it was a non-event. And
yeah, but how do they do that?
What do you mean?
Well, how do they stay it off other than, yeah, mainstream media said it stayed off, but, I mean, it's still going to collapse, dude.
Oh, sure. That's what I mean. They're just kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
All they're doing is simply is loaning more money to someone that has run they've expanded the limit on the credit card.
Right, and how do they loan that money, Jeff? You know, because the word on the street was, or the alternative media, my gosh, they were gonna, you know, they were pulling out. It was already being printed in Britain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this solves nothing.
Oh, I know.
But this isn't the big one. The big one will be Spain.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, because you can't, those numbers are too large to screw around with like that.
Right.
So they can't, I mean, it's blatant printing. Again, and unless, there's only two options. In fact, if you go onto King World News, onto his broadcast, onto his broadcast interviews, and there's a guy from Switzerland, and this guy's basically saying that this is inevitable. This is, I mean, what?
Well, yeah, I'm not interrupting you. You and I both know, and so does he, that, yeah, it's got to go, but how they propped it up again is, I mean, seriously, I was down at the Swan Valley yesterday and doing some standing on some logs for a guy that's, I got to be careful here in what I say, but his vacation house, Jeff, is well, I would say, if you would count it in square feet, 15,000, okay? So, you know, but I'm getting at is how they propped it up again is, see, well, I was figuring 2 months from now, it's pretty much going to start, you know, falling down here in America. I figured Greece, you know, they've been rioting and burning stuff and everything else for years now. And how do they keep? I mean, has it got to be a bloodbath before it ends, or what?
No, it's basically the only way I can describe it is it is happening. I mean, it's happening in slow motion. I mean, it isn't like, well, gee, everything's fine and suddenly it's going to come apart. It's more like, I mean, don't get me wrong, that can happen. I mean, to where you have a panic event.
Right.
But basically what you're seeing is more and more and more debt will be heaped on until finally the straw that breaks the camel's back is loaded on and it goes off. Or someone defaults on a derivative. But the thing that I mean, look at it this way. You've got two different types of events. You've got events that happen in the unreal world of printing paper. And they can keep printing paper for as long as they've got a printing press, or the digital equivalent.
Right.
Which is what you're seeing now with Greece. But more than likely what will happen is you'll see something that will trigger in the real world, meaning that Japan will be taking delivery on gold and it won't be there.
Mm-hmm.
That goes into the real world. Or they default on their silver contract.
Right. That'd be like this. Somebody kind of like saying, okay, if you've got a a Jaguar or a Ferrari, yeah, okay, and they paid the guy for the Jaguar or the Ferrari, and then all of a sudden when the delivery truck comes and it's got an empty box, somebody's going to get pissed.
You got it. That I believe will be the trigger event, is something along those lines. Because all they've done now is they're simply going, well, you can't pay your credit card, so what we're going to do is expand your credit limit.
Mm-hmm.
You can borrow more money to pay on the interest.
Yeah, and is that not what you and I have talked about for years? And by the way, like I said, when I worked for a certain guy in Georgia, that most of his friends lived off credit cards, and they would keep expanding it, and they would pay for their mortgage, they would pay for their lifestyle. Everything was based upon them just swiping the card and them giving a bigger limit.
You got it. That's what the world's doing.
Yeah.
That is exactly what the world's doing. So, the other real-time event that you could see would be if they run the banks, which, you know, it sounds like they're doing that in France.
Well, based on what I read, and that's all I have because I'm not over there. Based on what I read, they are running it, but they have somebody else to come in there and put an infusion, per se. Well, I guess, you know, hit the buttons on the computer and there's the money, or, you know, out of thin air.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a little bit different from the standpoint that people are pulling cash out. So, I mean, they could run out of cash before they could get it printed.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and that would entail maybe a problem, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, any one of these things could, I mean, no one knows. And no one knows when it's going to give up the ghost. I would not be surprised if it happens this year.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, the thing with Greece, I mean, these people were idiots. Well, and so they were in a no-win situation. Because if the socialists have gotten in and said, we're not going to honor the agreements, then it collapses right then and there. And that would have been the best thing. As far as the smartest thing you can do at this point when you can't pay is don't keep running up the credit card.
You get it.
It's like, okay, it's one thing to default on $100, it's another thing to default on $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so,
sorry. Didn't mean to be that way.
I mean, kicking the can down the road, that's what makes it worse. But the smartest thing that you could do would be to simply default on your debt because you can't pay. And that's where the world's at. I mean, if they were going to hit the credit limit here and have to, you know...
Oh, I did not mean to be in the way. I was actually, I was counting bullets. Oh, let me move this, penny. I was actually counting bullets. That's what I've got, pretty much, is bullets and peanuts and stuff like that. That's all I've got. Anyway, so good to see you now. This is an interview with Jeff. The guy's brilliant. He knows what he's talking about. And, yeah, I would invite you to finish listening to the interview, if you are so inclined to do so. If not, then, hey, go watch Andy Griffith, Charlie Brown, Glenn Beck, whatever you want to do. You know, maybe you need to be on Facebook and do some of that stuff, whatever. But I would challenge you to listen to what the guy's saying because he's brilliant. Okay, here we go. Oh man, tell me I ain't started it over. What's going on, brother? Oh man, you idiot.
Working things out.
Oh, I hear you.
I mean, but it's a little bit different from the standpoint
there it is.
that people are pulling cash out. So, I mean, they could run out of cash before they could get it printed.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and that would entail maybe a problem, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, any one of these things could, I mean, no one knows. And no one knows when it's going to give up the ghost. I would not be surprised if it happens this year.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, the thing with Greece, I mean, these people were idiots. Well, and so they were in a no-win situation. Because if the socialists have gotten in and said, we're not going to honor the agreements, then it collapses right then and there. And that would have been the best thing. That one. As far as the smartest thing you can do at this point when you can't pay is don't keep running up the credit card.
You get it.
It's like, okay, it's one thing to default on $100, it's another thing to default on $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I mean, kicking the can down the road, that's what makes it worse. But the smartest thing that you could do would be to simply default on your debt because you can't pay. And that's where the world's at. I mean, if they were to hit the credit limit here and have to, you know, raise it up another $1 trillion, that's the end of Obama's career.
Well, but at the same time, Jeff, you remember they were saying we got to pass the budget, got to do this, that, and that. There's not been a budget passed since freaking 08, man.
Oh, I know. They can't even agree on a budget. I mean, it cracks me up is that I remember when Reagan was running for president, and he says, "I'm going to balance the budget."
Mm-hmm.
So my girlfriend at the time, I go, "That's a joke. That's not going to happen ever."
Well, it can't happen.
No, it can't happen. You can never balance the budget. I mean, you can never pay it off. You can never get out of debt because you would have no money left. So that's just not mathematically possible.
Right.
So no, I mean, something's going to give up the ghost. My guess is it will be something to do with derivatives, because they're so hellacial, but they're so mind-numbing.